Hello, and welcome to the 82nd in an unknown number of podcasts. I begin today with a post that is making the rounds on social media, and it highlights the best 6 doctors: fresh air, exercise, water, rest, good diet, and sunshine. And it's drawn some criticism from some people because they've left some comments along the lines of, what good are these doctors, these 6 doctors, if you've broken a bone or in the midst of the pandemic? More about that later. But just seeing this post got me thinking about where it came from. A little bit of digging and searching on the internet reveals that it's based on a quote. The best 6 doctors anywhere, and no one can deny it, are sunshine, water, rest, air, exercise, and diet. And it's accredited to somebody called Wayne Fields. A bit more digging and searching, and we find and discover that it's more than just a short quote. It's a more lengthy quote. The best 6 doctors anywhere, and no one can deny it, are sunshine, water, rest and air, exercise and diet. These 6 will gladly you attend, if only you are willing. Your mind they'll ease, your will they'll mend, and charge you not a shilling. So one source says it's a nursery rhyme that's quoted by Wayne Fields, and another says that it's from a book called What the River Knows. So straight away, what do I do? Well, I'm going to go and do some more research and find out about what the river knows. And here we have the front cover of the book. And if you read the blurb on the back, just to find out a little bit about what the book is about, it states, at the age of 42, Wayne Fields set out upon a sort of pilgrimage when he waded the near 20-mile stretch of a small river in northern Michigan with a fly rod in hand. He emerged with a beautiful and poignant memoir, a meditation on families and aging, and a whimsical response to what time and streams and those we care about bring into our lives. Well, the blurb has, from my point of view, absolutely done its job. I am, if you pardon the pun, hooked in, and I want a copy of the book. I want to read the book. I want to find out what Wayne Fields was doing, wading in this river. What made him decide to do that with fly rod in hand? What are his thoughts on time and the people that we care about? What is it that they bring to our lives? I want to find more. And so I go to Amazon hunting for the book, and I'm sad to say that the book, I find out, is no longer available in the UK. And so I suppose the quest could end at that point. That's it. The book isn't available. I can't read any more. Or I could reflect on the fact that this all began just with a simple post that somebody put on social media, and with a little bit of time and effort and research, I'm able to embellish what I thought about that quote and learn that there's a fuller quote, a nice little rhyme that comes along with that. And I'm able to at least now know about this book, and perhaps I'll be able to find it through some other source. The key thing is not to accept things at face value. Here's a post on social media, and we tend to make a very quick judgment about whether we choose to click on like or give it a thumbs up or to leave a comment, move on and find another post. And yet if you take some time and delve beneath the surface, you may find something more. Clearly, the best 6 doctors is about the things which are free that can help with our well-being. But well-being is more than just having some fresh air and exercising and drinking water and having a good diet and resting and going out in the sunshine. Well-being involves more than just those things that the 6 doctors provide. For some people, having a semblance of a structure is good for well-being. Things become predictable, manageable, controllable. And so I go back to the Action for Happiness calendar, and on the screen there's the one for July. And as it turns out today, go for a walk to clear your head when you feel overwhelmed, clearly making use of some of those 6 doctors. For some people, having some kind of a daily challenge or a daily task is what's needed for managing well-being. Having some form of outlet to focus part of that day in order to complete some kind of task. Mrs. Crowther, for example, has been knitting, or is it crocheting, or was it knitting? Well, I'm sure she'll correct me, but she's been making these soft toys for her local hospice. Now, you may remember that she'd completed the unicorn last time round. Now we have the fire-breathing dragon to add to the collection as well. And perhaps part of why having some form of challenge or task is a good way of aiding and helping our well-being is because it offers us an opportunity to be creative. And being creative doesn't have to be following these tasks that I've talked about in previous podcasts. You could be creative in the way that you keep a journal, or by writing some stories, or by writing some poetry. And it doesn't have to be just lots of writing. You can include all sorts of little diagrams and asides, as you can see in the example on the screen. You could be creative by painting something, by drawing something, by making something. And this is where I suppose I take issue with some of the thoughts or words that people say to discourage themselves. And maybe it's a form of self-sabotage. I can't draw. I can't paint. I can't write poetry. That's not the right thought to have. And ultimately, what people are doing when they say that is comparing themselves to somebody else. I can't write poetry because I've read good poetry and I think I know what it's like. Or I can't draw because when I do, it doesn't look right. And it doesn't look as good as what my friend can draw either. The trap that people fall into is one of inactivity caused by comparison. As the quote goes, don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Or, if you dig and delve on the internet a bit more, you'll find a different way of interpreting that quote. Ralph Smart, for example, has, don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Comparison is one of the biggest causes of unhappiness. Respect your own journey. And equally from Evan Carmichael, don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Everyone's journey is different. Just do you. The greatest artists had to start somewhere. And who's to say that you are stopping yourself from becoming great if you don't take that first step because you think what you produce is not as good as what somebody else can do. So, with the end of this strange, challenging, and at times difficult academic year just days away, I wanted to talk about creativity and well-being because you'll have soon 6 weeks to fill. Now, those 6 weeks may be devoted to some time resting and relaxing and recovering. That 6 weeks may be catching up on some of the things on MS Teams, some of the assignments that you may not have finished. But more importantly, it's a time for you to do something, to be creative, to make good, productive use of that time. And it puts into mind, well, my mind at least, the quote from Kurt Vonnegut. Go into the arts. I'm not kidding. The arts are not a way to make a living. They are a very human way of making life more bearable. Practicing an art, no matter how well or badly, is a way to make your soul grow, for heaven's sake. Sing in the shower. Dance to the radio. Tell stories. Write a poem to a friend, even a lousy poem. Do it as well as you possibly can. You will get an enormous reward. You will have created something. And so in those moments when our mental health may not be as we'd like it to be, perhaps we need to turn to being a bit more creative and to give ourselves some outlet and focus to do something which is rewarding, or, as Kurt Vonnegut says, a very human way of making life more bearable. So, until tomorrow, as ever, be kind, take care, and stay safe.